Hi guys, it's Aegis here. So today I'm here with another Dark Stage deck profile, which will be focusing on Bruce, the Diabolos. So this is the deck from the starter, and we get some kind of decent update on the deck, so makes it a little bit more playable, more stronger. Uh, but at the same time, we also still need to wait for a turn in order to get into Final Rush. Uh, that's something that we cannot avoid for now. Maybe later we can get something that can help us to get Final Rush early, or just get into Superior into Boost earlier. So whenever you actually act trying to do something on your grief return, you are already in Final Rush. That may happen, but we will need to see. But before those things happens, we work with what we have. And let's just quickly go to the right deck, which is of course Bruce, Richard, Steve, and Matt. So nothing much to say about this line. I've been also thinking of using the Barrel Magnus 9, which may work, but at the same time, I already need to wait for a turn for Bruce already, and Electro Spartan need a Barrel Magnus to ride on him in order to have effects, so I don't want to wait that long. So I still keep the Diablos right line, but talking about these cards, in the main deck I will be only running Bruce. The main reason is instead of having some cards that only get power, I use something different, because their other effects is only on Vanguard Circle, and you only can use them kind of once. So that's why I'm just leaving it like that. And then going through the main deck quickly. First, of course, 3 more Bruce, because we do want to personal ride, and personal ride in this build is quite important because you do need the 10k kind of front trigger effects to put on your regards to make them strong enough so that you can do a lot of multiple attacks except facing it over trigger, which no one can avoid, so just let it happen. If you don't know about what Bruce do, is whenever you start on the right phase and you already have your Bruce on Vanguard Circle, you get into Final Rush state. And Final Rush is given to the player, so even if you ride into something else, the Final Rush status will not be gone. Even if you stride or whatever, they will still be there. So that's something that's important to know. And when this card attacks as a Vanguard, and if you're in Final Rush states, you can Soul Blast 5 to stand on your front row regards. Which, of course, for now we only have 2 front row regards that we can stand, because we don't have extra circles or something that can count as a front row regard circle. The front row regard, nothing happens yet, so only standing 2 for 5 multiple attacks. And this is the key for you to win games, is to do multiple attacks and try to build up their power and just push. And then 4 of the Magdalene, which is kind of like V era, that we do have cards that help us to soul charge, other regards to draw cards, to soul charge and gain power. So she is a very very strong card for the deck, because she can pump herself 10k for the whole turn. So even if you can't personal ride, you get in the Final Rush, you still get to use the effects, because her effects is only when you're on Final Rush state. So something that you need to be very, very careful. You can't basically do it on the first turn you ride Bruce, but you can still call her because it's a auto skill and it's not in place. So you can just play her first, then use the skill next turn. So she's still a 30k attacker, which is very, very nice. And as long as she uses the skill, she's 23k for the turn. And if you personal ride, she's 23k. So hitting quite big, and she help you soul charge in numbers, draw you cards so that you can defend yourself and easier to get 5 souls again for the soul blast next turn, which is a reason you need to run 4 off. Then for Aiden's, nothing too much to say. That for now I think is a must. Maybe when we get the new cards this week, yes, it's releasing this week, then we can probably see more interactions with the Diabolos. But for now, Aiden is a must, a 4 off, because whenever his attack hits, doesn't have to be on final rush states, you can counterblast 1 and just pop out one of your opponent's regards, which is very very big because you always see something that you want to kill, and not every single clan do have ways to do removal, and this is the one. So if you get into the final rush states, what else you can get? First, you do get 5k. It's not a like whenever you attack for the whole time +5, so no matter how many times you're attacking, it's always +5. And during the turn, if this card is being stand by card effects, you gain 1 crit. So even better with Bruce, because if your opponent's PG the Bruce attack and you open a crit, you can put it on Aiden, and now he hit 3 damage. So it's even crazier, and your opponents will always want to kind of guard this attack. This is how you make them to use a lot of resources. And if they want to take it, sure, you kill another thing. So no matter what, no matter hit or not, Aiden still proves himself very, very useful. And then for Brody, for defensive, because you do need to survive a little longer, and he don't have any special requirement like if you have to be grade free, if you need to have like how many cards in soul in order to use the effect, is as long as you put him on the Guardian Circle, color +1, and get 5k shield to be 10k shield. And since get into the era, we don't actually have 10k shields, this is very important. And you can also place him early as an attacker to give your opponents pressure, and then your opponents will need to think, do I want to keep these alive or I need to attack them? If they attack your Brody, that's fine, just let them be. Or if you can use a little bit of resources to save him, that's fine as well, but you already directed the attack to something else, to him. So you kind of save yourself some resources in guarding no matter what. And then we starting our great ones already, which is Acrobat Presenter. Again, is a must, same as Aiden, because this card, when you on Bruce, you soul charge 1. If you final rush, you soul charge another 1. Just help you so easy to gain the 5 soul. Even if you just have 1 soul, you call 2 of your Acrobat Presenter, just attack with them, you already get 5 soul. So yeah, the soul charging at this moment is still kind of forcing you to do it, but I think you can manage yourself to not soul charging too much to deck yourself out while trying to fulfill the soul. And if you have too much soul, what can you do? One thing is Gungaduram to soul blast 3 to draw 1, and of course he soul charge you another 1. So if you are in short like 1 soul, then you can just use him, and whenever you have too much soul, you can always soul blast 3 to draw yourself an extra card for defensive, for building your board. And another key card, the Proto-Bob Dragon. So this little gear dragon helps you to pick up a card from your soul by counterblasting 1 and choosing 1 of your rearguard into the soul when you're in final states. So help you get back another Bruce. If you personal right, you already guarantee 1 in soul, so you can just pick that up for next turn. You can just keep recycling as long as this card's still alive, because he only put other regards in his soul, not putting himself, so you can keep using it. And if by chance you soul charge a over trigger, you can still pick that up for a 50k shield. If you soul charge a PG and you want that PG, you can pick the PG up to do some perfect guards. And if you just need a 15k shield, you can do that. If you need some other attackers like Aiden, you just pick up a Brody for defense, pick up the presenter if you need the soul charge. Basically, when you soul charge, you can pick them up, which is very, very helpful, because with Bruce, we actually soul charge kind of a lot faster than Barrel Magnus if we really want to, and by doing so, we will lose a lot of resources because they gain the soul. But with this, you can pick them up. So, pretty nice, and that's one reason I'm running for. In Shimone, similar to the Barrel Magnus idea, just to have a little bit fun element, some little extra guard restrictions. Whenever, like, if you can't get into a personal ride and you want your opponents to use a lot of resources, then just boost with her, counter blast one, and see if your opponents can drop something. And even if you withstand with your Aiden with Bruce, now he got a crit, and you want to push your opponents further, they don't just want them to give you like a 15k shield. Usually Shimone, Bruce, go for 33 and say, now you can't just drop me a 15, you need to drop me something else more. So pretty good and quite easy to use. And next, of course, 4 of the new PGs, just because they are new PGs. And entry triggers, I'm going all out with 8 crits, 3 draws, 4 heals, and 1 over trigger. So again, over trigger, don't rely on that card too much. It's fun, it's helping you a lot, and you can pick it up as a 50k shield, but don't wait for it. The rest of the triggers will help you out, because we do have some kind of drawing power. So what I want to focus on is to early push a lot of damage. That's why I'm running 8 crit instead of 7 crits and 4 draws. Usually I do 4 draws, but with this build I do have defensives, I do have some draws, I do have a lot of attackers. So I want to fully utilize my attackers. I want to pump them up as crazy as I can. That's why I'm going for this. And at this stage, we only get draw or front triggers as an option, so I'm not taking the heals yet. Maybe when later, if we actually get more crits, maybe I will just go all out and take out the heal triggers. Maybe that can happen, and this deck can actually do this. But that's when that happens. But for now, I think the trigger lineup is quite good. So that's basically the deck content, and I can also talk to you a little bit more about this deck, like some cards that I didn't choose to use and the reason why. So for example, the Gear Colossus, I think a lot of people still running that card, and when I first building the Bruce deck with the new stuff, I actually put that in as well, but I can't put in 4 like before, because the max I can put in is like 2 to 3. Yes, it's a good card. It's a plus 15k body beast stick, as long as you get Final Rush, but then you need to wait a turn. And if you just place him before you get into Final Rush, this card only soul charge you 1 and do nothing else. So, and after that, you don't get him useful at all, because his skill is only on place, and unless you try to use this to put this into your soul and get it back, but then you kind of lost your shield value, and if you run too many Great Priests, you do have a risk of having too much of them in hand and you can't guard early game. And if you got Rush, then you're in trouble. So this deck is more defensive, playing a little bit long game. and you just need to soul charge when you need, and that's why I'm not running the Colossus. But of course, if you want to go like even more aggressive, you can try to put that in, and in that case you might want to drop one of these. Maybe you can cut a little bit of Brodies and Shimones because it's a fun element here. Maybe cut one on a dragon, then you do have some spaces for it. But for now, since I've been playing this deck for a few weeks, I still think this current ratio is better without the Colossus. Yeah. And what other possibilities we can do with this deck is actually something, I would say a more Barrel Magnus side, is we actually use this engine to do a soul charge and get into Final Rush, and then next turn we ride into Barrel Magnus, and then since we're in Final Rush now we can use the Colossus to gain power, attack, and then use your Barrel Magnus with 15 soul, attack, put all your Regas in there and put 2 Colossus back again, and since you are still in Final Rush states, you can still use this skill, which is something that is fun to play. But I think the reverse way probably not that great. Or if you really want to go extremely all out and you don't really like Brody, you can put in a Electro Spartan, which directly soul charge you too, so it's quite easy to get into 5 souls, but at the same time you are even closer to deck out, which is a risk that you will need to take on. You need to consider which is the best for you, but I want to go for both aggressive and with a little bit more defensive. This is why I'm using like Brody's, I'm using him, I'm using this to survive a little longer, because if we can't stay on Bruce for a whole turn, we can't get into Final Rush, and we can't get into Final Rush, there's a lot of things we can't do, and even Bruce can't do anything because he don't have other skill that other than just give you Final Rush, and after Final Rush you do something. He gets no skill before you gain Final Rush or to get Final Rush, if you get what I mean. Yeah, so very simple deck profile. Let me know your comments, like ideas. Do you actually like Colossus more? You don't? Let me know and we can discuss from there. Of course, I will still be doing some hybrids. As I said, a Barrel Magnus mixing Bruce build is something that is workable, which probably will be my next target to make as well with this Stoichia hybrid. And of course, we do have some new cards to play with, and just stay tuned for those. Yeah. So thanks to you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Signing off.